The film begins in the impoverished neighborhoods of New York in 1846, introducing us to Priest Vallon, who is the leader of an Irish gang in New York known as the Dead Rabbits. A worried father, Vallon, who is an Irish immigrant and a Catholic priest, questions his son about how he would survive if his father were to pass away. He is gearing up for a looming battle. Vallon imparts worldly wisdom to his young son, Amsterdam, as they walk hand in hand. As they proceed, more Irish warriors join their march towards the impending conflict. Vallon carries a silver cross, a symbol of their Irish Catholic faith. Their journey leads them to the exit of an old brewery. A man named Monk forcefully opens the door, unveiling a snow-laden area of the notorious Five Points neighborhood of New York City known as Paradise Square. Vallon and the Dead Rabbits depart from the brewery and step onto the street. They patiently await the arrival of the natives, a rival gang composed of Protestant New Yorkers who were born in the city. The natives harbor a deep resentment towards the Catholic Irish, viewing them as intrusive invaders. Bill Cutting, also known as the Butcher, makes his entrance into the square. He is the merciless leader of the nativists and is distinguished by his glass eye, which is shaped like an American eagle. Both factions agree that the victors will gain control over the 5 Points. The question remains, will it be the immigrant Irish Catholics or the Protestant natives who were born in the city? The battle commences, and it is a gruesome spectacle filled with bludgeoning, stabbings, slashings, and broken limbs. The gang members relentlessly attack each other, resulting in a scene of continuous carnage. A woman, known as Hellcat Maggie, even bites off a man's ear and claims it as a trophy. The Butcher navigates through the chaos, alternating between stabbing men with a knife and hacking at them with a large cleaver. Bill gradually makes his way towards Fallon. Before the priest can react, Bill stabs him. Mortally wounded, Fallon collapses to the ground. The fighting comes to a halt as Bill exclaims, "Look who is under my knife." With his dying breath, Fallon speaks a few words to his son before being stabbed again by Bill. At that moment, Fallon's son vows to seek revenge for his father's death. He conceals the knife that was used to kill his father and is sent to an orphanage on Blackwell's Island. Following this, Bill declares the Dead Rabbits as outlaws. Fast forward 16 years into the future, Amsterdam is still in New York, but he has been living in an orphanage named Hellgate. Now at the age of 21, he is being released to live independently. During the Civil War era, describing New York as a city teeming with tribal factions and rival gangs vying for control. Celebrations are seen in the streets of New York City amidst the ongoing Civil War. President Lincoln is actively seeking volunteers to join the fight in the South. Bill and his gang are seen walking the streets as Civil War soldiers march past. It is evident that Bill harbors no affection for President Lincoln. Amsterdam has now returned to the 5 Points. Monk, a friend of his father, notices him and observes him with curiosity. Amsterdam reunites with his childhood friend Johnny, who updates him on all the developments at the 5 Points during his absence. Johnny tells him a detailed account of the gangs that control the 5 Points and the criminal activities that are rampant there. He also shares how Bill, known as the Butcher, commemorates the death of Priest Vallon every year by consuming a flaming glass of alcohol. Later, a young woman approaches Amsterdam, interacts with him in a playful manner, and then departs, leaving Amsterdam intrigued. He boards a bus and notices the same girl is also on the bus. He observes her being overly friendly with the man sitting next to her. She distracts the man and manages to steal his belongings. Observing these events, Amsterdam realizes that his locket is missing. When she alights from the bus, he follows her. As he confronts her and demands the return of his locket, the girl responds by holding a knife to Amsterdam's throat. However, he remains unafraid and insists on getting his locket back. The girl feigns ignorance about the locket he's referring to. Amsterdam approaches the girl, meeting her gaze, and questions her if she has the courage to actually kill him. The girl, frightened by his question, opens her shirt and asks him to identify his locket among the many she has stolen and is currently wearing. Amsterdam quickly identifies and retrieves his locket from her neck. Following this, he asks her if he could accompany her for a walk. The girl agrees, and they start walking together. He inquires about her name, to which she responds as Jenny. They strike up a friendship. A few days later, Johnny then takes Amsterdam to meet Bill, known as the Butcher, at a pub in the 5 Points. Upon entering, Amsterdam immediately notices a portrait of his father displayed in a place of honor. Initially, Bill doesn't seem impressed by Amsterdam. Bill's right-hand man, McGloin, attempts to insult Amsterdam. At first, it doesn't have any effect, but eventually, the two end up in a fistfight. They exchange bold punches, hitting each other in the face and body. McGloin even slams Amsterdam's head into the wall. Eventually, they end up on the ground, with Amsterdam gaining the upper hand and managing to pin down McGloin. Bill intervenes to break up the fight and finds the whole situation amusing, considering Amsterdam to be just a kid or a sprat. He gives Amsterdam a piece of raw meat to soothe his swollen eye. Unbeknownst to him, Amsterdam is actually the son of Priest Valen. Bill starts to take a clear liking to Amsterdam and decides to mentor him. This aligns perfectly with Amsterdam's goal, to get close enough to Bill, and when the time is right, strike to avenge his father. Bill teaches Amsterdam how to use a knife effectively to wound or even kill an opponent. As he learns, memories of his father flash through Amsterdam's mind. Amsterdam sees this opportunity to gain favor with Bill. He proposes relocating the boxing matches to the city outskirts, where the police have no authority. Bill is impressed by this idea and commends Amsterdam for his resourcefulness. Subsequently, we see Bill and his crew at a theater, engrossed in a play. However, one day Johnny also lays eyes on Jenny and is immediately smitten by her. At a festival, when Jenny is asked to choose a dance partner, Johnny is confident that she will choose him. However, he is disappointed when she chooses Amsterdam instead. This event brings Jenny and Amsterdam closer. However, the audience soon starts to express their disapproval by booing, which escalates into chaos as they begin throwing vegetables. Amidst this disorder, an assassin attempts to shoot Bill. Amsterdam spots the danger and tries to alert Bill, but it's too late. Bill is shot in the shoulder. Amsterdam reacts swiftly, tackling the assassin to the ground. Bill then proceeds to torture the man, demanding to know who sent him. However, the man succumbs to his injuries and dies before revealing anything. Despite the unfortunate outcome, Bill acknowledges Amsterdam's assistance and expresses his respect and gratitude towards him. Amsterdam, coming to the realization that he has just saved the life of his father's murderer, runs off in a state of confusion and breaks down in tears. Monk finds him in this state and, expressing his disgust, reminds Amsterdam that his father had a deep love for his people, the Irish, and died for their cause. Upon waking, Amsterdam finds Bill observing him, seated in a chair and draped in a worn-out American flag. Bill explains how he has managed to survive all these years by instilling fear in others through his terrifying acts. If anyone dares to insult him, he cuts out their tongue. If they steal from him, he severs their hands. If they rise against him, he displays their head on a pike for all to see. Bill implies that Amsterdam is like a son to him and places a blessing upon Amsterdam's head. Amsterdam, however, knows in his heart that he must publicly kill Bill in front of everyone. Later that night, Monk observes Amsterdam practicing his aim by throwing a dagger into a wooden post behind Bill's hideout. It appears as though Amsterdam is preparing for something. Monk realizes that Amsterdam is planning to make a move soon. Tonight is a significant night, as it marks the anniversary of the natives' victory over the Irish and the death of Priest Valen. It presents the perfect opportunity for Amsterdam to avenge his father's killer in full public view. Bill prepares to make his toast, drawing the attention of everyone present. He then sets his drink ablaze and raises his glass in tribute to Priest Valen. Just as he does this, Amsterdam makes his move by hurling a dagger at Bill. Bill, however, manages to deflect the blade and counterattacks, striking Amsterdam in the stomach. Amsterdam is restrained on a table as Bill reveals to everyone that Amsterdam is the son of Priest Valen. He labels Amsterdam a coward for attempting to assassinate him in a covert manner instead of confronting him directly. Bill then proclaims that Amsterdam will be branded and cast out into the street to live in disgrace. He uses a heated knife to sear Amsterdam's cheek. Following this, Jenny comes to Amsterdam's aid, taking him to a cave where she tends to his injuries and nurses him back to health. She speaks of their potential departure to San Francisco. At last, we see Amsterdam stepping out into the daylight. He confidently marches into Paradise Square, making his way purposefully to the center. He hangs a dead rabbit, a symbolic gesture indicating the resurgence of the Irish, with Amsterdam at their helm. The rabbit is brought to Bill, who immediately grasps its significance. Deciding to eliminate Amsterdam once and for all, Bill orders Happy Jack, a corrupt policeman, to handle the situation. Meanwhile, Amsterdam is hiding at a church, rallying the Irish forces. Jack embarks on a search for him, stealthily prowling through the church while feigning friendship and calling out Amsterdam's name. However, Amsterdam is not deceived. He catches Jack off guard and strangles him to death. He then displays Jack's body in the center of Paradise Square for all to witness. Bill is displeased by the loss of his inside man, as a corrupt cop like Jack was of great value to him. The story unfolds during a dangerous and chaotic period in New York City, marked by draft riots during the Civil War. The city's inhabitants learn that the wealthy can avoid conscription by paying a fee of $300. This news sparks outrage, leading to widespread destruction across the city. Police stations become targets of the angry mob. In the midst of this chaos, we follow Amsterdam and his gang, the Dead Rabbits, as they prepare for a confrontation with Bill and his nativist followers. Scenes of the city under siege by furious rioters are interspersed with images of the Dead Rabbits marching towards their impending clash with the nativists. As the situation escalates, the army is summoned to quell the riots. Soldiers march through the city streets, facing off against the rioters. The narrative then shifts to the film's climactic confrontation, a showdown between the Catholic Irish Dead Rabbits and the Protestant nativist gang. They gather in Paradise Square on the brink of violence. However, just as tensions reach their peak, the US Navy begins a bombardment of the city from the harbor. The attack causes injuries on both sides, filling the square with smoke and causing people to scatter in search of safety. Amidst the confusion and cannon fire, the army begins its march. Amsterdam, caught in the chaos, tries to defend himself, brandishing his weapon blindly in the smoke-filled square. In the midst of the chaos, Bill rushes past Amsterdam, slashing him. Suddenly, a massive explosion occurs, knocking both Bill and Amsterdam to the ground. They lay there, stunned, slowly regaining their senses amidst the surrounding destruction. As they rise, they lock eyes. Bill, realizing his end is near, looks at Amsterdam with a sense of acceptance. Seizing the moment, Amsterdam lunges forward, plunging his blade into Bill's body. Bill crumples to the ground, clutching Amsterdam's hand as his life gradually fades away. As the film concludes, we are shown a cemetery in Brooklyn with a view of the Manhattan skyline in the distance. Amsterdam's voice echoes, reflecting on the turbulent times they lived and died in. He remarks that despite all the efforts to rebuild the city, it will always feel as though their existence has been erased, as if they were never there. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.